Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Amy, and today we're doing a video that has been requested quite a lot throughout the years. So we've been planning it for quite a while, and that is how to do Orlando on a budget. So you're probably thinking, who are you to tell me how to do Orlando on a budget?
Who are you?
Who are you? But if you are new to the channel, hi. We make a lot of travel and lifestyle content and vlogs, and I lived in Orlando for basically the past 10 years. So we've gathered a lot of information because...
well, this is my daughter, by the way,
yeah,
in case you don't know it, if you're new here. And because she lived in Orlando for the last 10 years, then I visited Orlando a lot, a couple of times a year on average. And because of that, I've been looking for the best deals and how to get really good deals on flights, on hotels, etc. So I've learned a lot, and I would like to share that information with you guys.
All of the knowledge.
All the knowledge.
Okay, so we're going to start off with obviously how you're going to get to Orlando, so the flights.
You got to get there first.
You got to get there first.
So when it comes to flights, we all know that flights across the Atlantic are going to be expensive. It's a long way and they're going to charge you a lot of money, but you can get deals. So I know that people can't always be flexible and travel outside of school holidays, and you have to travel within the school holidays. However, if you do have any option whatsoever, do not travel in the school holidays. As you parents know, it's always going to be more expensive, and we definitely have had, when Amy was at school, obviously years that we did have to travel during school holidays. Fortunately, that's not the case anymore. So we can travel when we like. So that is always going to be a much better option cost-wise. So if you can travel outside the school holidays, then a couple of tips for you. First of all, if you can hold your nerve, i.e. wait until the last minute, there are deals to be had. For example, this latest trip that I did in June, it cost £250 to fly from Newcastle to Melbourne Airport, and that's an absolute steal. £250 to get to Orlando and back.
Unheard of.
Unheard of, unheard of. I first looked at it when it was 300 and I thought, wow, 300, amazing. And the next day I looked at it again and it was 250, and I thought, do I wait and see if it goes down to 200? And we decided, no, let's not do that. Let's jump on it. Of course, 250 is like the base rate. That is like providing you don't want to take any luggage with you. Obviously we want to take luggage, and we like to choose our seats. We usually like to get extra legroom seats if we can't get premium, and we couldn't because it was sold out. So we paid extra legroom and we paid for luggage. So it ended up costing us for two to get to Orlando and back £789.
Which is normally a good deal for one person these days.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, usually I would say you're probably looking at £1,500 for the same kind of flight at the same kind of time. So that was fantastic, but we literally booked 2 weeks before we left. If that's an option for you, then hang fire. But I've looked in preparation for this video, I did look yesterday at flights to Orlando again from Newcastle, and we've just gone into August, and there are deals to be had right now. So if you can travel next week, get on the internet and get your flights booked. Yeah, amazing deals to be had right now. If that isn't an option for you and you need to book in advance, then you've got to shop around. It's sometimes, you've actually done it indirect before.
Yeah.
Indirect to...
Yeah, so there's a few options, but we've done it through London, we've done it through Dublin Airport.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of the times where you can maybe fly straight over and stop in like New York or something.
I think you did Washington. Did you do Washington?
I have done that once.
And Atlanta, I think you can do. So there are definitely
there's a few different options depending on like where you want to start from, which I guess is the next point.
I guess it is. Yeah. And yeah, I said earlier, we are based in the northeast of England, and the only airport that we really have close by is Newcastle, and the only airline that travels to Orlando from Newcastle is TUI, and it's seasonal. So if you want to go anywhere that isn't during your normal holiday time, you got to go somewhere else, and be that Manchester or London, or sometimes I think Edinburgh have Virgin, I believe. However, you know, we would prefer to fly from Newcastle. Obviously it's just down the road. However, Manchester, it's not too bad, and you've flown to London previously, and so yeah, that's you can connect by flying from Newcastle down to London, maybe Heathrow, and then get a flight from Heathrow or Gatwick over to Orlando, or even Tampa, or Miami. I know people who do Miami.
I don't think anyone loves connecting flights. No. That was a stupid thing to say, but if it can often save you like quite a lot of money, and for someone who's used to having to either drive a couple of hours to the airport or get a train and stay in a hotel, for us it just kind of like makes a little bit more sense to do it that way sometimes. But saying that, you're not a huge fan of doing that, are you?
I like a direct flight.
I mean, who doesn't?
I know. I like to get on the plane and know that when I get off at the other end, I'm where I need to be. And if that means I have to drive to Manchester and get and stay in a hotel the night before, or go to London and stay in a hotel the night before, then that gives me peace of mind that I'm where I need to be to get that flight to get directly to where I'd like to be.
Yeah,
that's my preference,
especially for a long flight like
Absolutely,
Orlando.
And I think finally, just I said shop around. There are some really good sites like Skyscanner, for example, that you can compare different flight prices and dates, and I would definitely suggest that you look on the Skyscanner and similar types of websites, and set yourself alerts as well, because you can get alerts for when the prices go up and down, which is really handy, and then you can jump on the flights when the prices come down. But I'll put some links below so that you can have a little look and maybe save some to your favourites if you're not aware of them.
Okay, so next thing, you've gotten to Orlando, you need a hotel. So there's obviously millions of hotels in Orlando. And also I should say, with all of these things, I think it's like give and take. So I think, you know, some people would rather cut in other places and spend more on a hotel or more on the flights. But luckily the iDrive area has thousands of hotels, and we've stayed there quite a few times. It's really good for being able to get out and just walk to other restaurants and facilities and shops and stuff.
Especially now that you've got iDrive 360, I believe it's called, with all of those great restaurants and things to do. It's better than ever to stay on International Drive.
Definitely way better than it was
like years back when we
15, 20 years ago or whatever. It was thought of as being like the tourist kind of trap then. I think it's definitely got a lot more going for it now. So don't be put off by staying there if like maybe you would be in the past.
But I think as well that in my mind there are two distinct ends to International Drive, and one is a little more desirable from a hotel perspective than the other. I would say that the end of iDrive that's a little bit closer to the convention centre is normally a little bit nicer. It's a bit quieter, and as you get kind of closer down nearer to Universal, that's when it gets like a little bit more
like, I guess, kitschy and touristy.
I think so,
but you know, if that's what you're going for,
absolutely,
that's the spot for you.
Absolutely.
But on iDrive we've stayed in a couple of the Rosen hotels. So Rosen's a huge hotel chain in America. They're solid hotels. We've stayed in the Rosen Plaza, which is like a convention centre kind of hotel. What's the other one? Rosen Point?
There's some of the Rosen Plaza is maybe like a little bit more what's the word, like a bit more elevated. I would say Disney. Where the other Rosens, like the Rosen at Point, the Rosen, I think it's just like Rosen International Drive, there's one like Universal. They're all, like you say, solid hotels. They're no frills, but they're absolutely fine, and they're very, very reasonably priced. and also the Avanti, which is on International Drive a little bit further down from the Rose and at Point. Again, that's a solid hotel, very reasonably priced. Have a look on their hotel website, look for them direct, look on booking.com, and you can book them through your TUI and your travel agents as well, but they are usually the cheapest options on iDrive.
I think that really it comes down to like what you want to do, because really we don't stay in the hotel a lot when you've been there. Like, you are probably out and about, you're in the parks, you're going shopping, you maybe just going back and like having a shower and getting changed and then going out. So it's really just like somewhere to sleep. So if that is what you want to do, then it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
It doesn't matter. It's
to book a fancy hotel. It serves the job, it's all good, what more do you need? So there is the Universal hotels, which if you've watched a lot of our vlogs, you've probably seen we've stayed in quite a few of them, in pretty much all of them actually.
Spoiler alert, video coming rating all the Universal hotels.
So they have some really great like budget friendly options, two of which are on iDrive, and they're within walking distance of City Walk, probably like 10-15 minutes, and that is the Endless Summer Resort. So they have dockside and surfside, and they are great like family hotels. They're basic rooms, but from staying in Hard Rock Hotel, which is $500 a night, and then staying in dockside, there really isn't that much difference. It's a hotel at the end of the day. And it
has all the facilities, food court, loads of great food options, Starbucks, really good.
And you can get the bus from there over to City Walk and back, because you might be full of energy and want to walk on the morning, but like after you've been in the park all day, you might not want to. But there is transportation to get you there, and it's very efficient and runs really well, so like that shouldn't put you off either. It's also nice if maybe you want to be a little bit outside of like just being in a theme park hotel, because it is within easy walking distance of everything on iDrive. You get to all the restaurants and things as well. So another Universal hotel that we love is Cabana Bay. So we've stayed there quite a few times when that was their like budget hotel, really. And that again is a huge hotel. It's got a variety of different rooms. So they've got like a family suite.
Quite a few rooms.
We do actually. I guess this description box is probably going to be full of links. So
it will be. It's going to take me a long time.
Really fun hotel, and you can sometimes get a good deal on that. I don't think it's as cheap as it used to be at one time, because of them introducing the Endless Summer Resort, but maybe worth the extra money if you just kind of want to do a Universal holiday. And along those lines as well is the Aventura Resort, which is right off the road from Cabana Bay, and we've stayed there a few times. Is there a room tour?
Yes, there is.
There is going to be a room tour.
There's a room tour. But yeah, the Aventura was where I stayed in June. And I think for me, Aventura is a great option, maybe if you're a couple or you have older children, where I would say Cabana Bay I would choose if I had younger children. Both Cabana Bay and Aventura tend to be a similar price.
Okay, so we just looked it up to get our terminology right. So for Endless Summer Resort, they call that, what did you say? Value. And then Aventura and Cabana Bay are
prime value. So
it's like a step up, but not too much of a step up in price to like the luxury resort,
That's right.
But again, like, just if you want to have a Universal holiday, highly recommend. I mean, obviously it's really easy to jump on the iPhone and get to Disney. If you also want to go there, you can't. It's not like you're not going to go to Disney just because you're staying there.
No.
But it is nice, and we love going to City Walk, and it's a really easy walk. Or you get the water taxi. So again, just depends what you want. So speaking of Disney, there is of course the Disney hotels. Haven't stayed in as many of them, truthfully, just because it's very expensive, and like I say, it's all about where you want to prioritize your budget. And for us, it's just like not as important to have a really fancy hotel room. So with Disney, I would say stick to their value resorts. So stick to the kind of all-stars. I've stayed in them, and they're comparable to like Endless Summer. I would say the only thing is Endless Summer is like pretty much brand new,
Yeah.
whereas the all-star resorts have been there quite a while
Yeah,
now.
I think they are starting to renovate, and I think they have renovated some of the rooms.
them, I think, yeah.
I know that some Disney experts will be able to
tell us. Yeah.
So please do put in the comments for other people to read as well, if there are some of the all-star resorts that may be better, so maybe a little
more
bit
renovated,
more,
or more facilities,
or if there's like a particular building or block that you need to ask for, then that's really handy for people to know as well.
I think I've stayed in all-star music before. Another thing that like used to be a good option, but I think sometimes you can get a deal, but it sometimes can be quite expensive, is Art of Animation. If you can stay on the Little Mermaid side, it's very comparable rooms to an all-star resort. So like something to keep an eye on, but I do generally think it's more expensive now. But just so you know, like I've been in Disney resorts, like the room is a room, and like whether it's the contemporary resort or it's the all-star, like they're changing the wallpaper, like it's very, very similar. You'll have seen everyone's room tour videos, I'm sure. There isn't that much difference. We just stayed in a Disney hotel in Japan, and the room was a room. It's like, it's the same room you see in every Disney hotel. It's their formula. So like, if that's not, again, super important to you, I would just go with an all-star. They're great. They've got a food court, they've got really great pools, they've got cute photo ops with giant things. Just do that, and then you can get the Disney bus into Disney. I know more people maybe do like a Disney only holiday. If you want to do a Disney holiday, then you can just go straight to that resort from the airport, and you can like never leave the Disney bubble, and you can get the free transportation around, and I think that's an amazing option if that's what you want to do.
And I think as well, any children that I know and have ever known in my life would so much rather stay in one of the all-star resorts than stay in the Grand Floridian. Just saying.
I'd rather stay in the Grand Floridian. What do I know?
So the next topic that we want to cover is eating. And the first thing I'll say is food and drink has become a whole lot more expensive in the last few years. Now, Aimee lived obviously in Orlando, as she said, and I'm sure she can tell you all about the cost of groceries.
Cost of living in general is very high, so actually eating out is cheaper than buying groceries, in my opinion, in America, in Orlando. But I would say in general, like you say, it's definitely gone up a lot in the last few years. I think you used to be able to go out and take your family out for, you know, a chain restaurant meal, and it wasn't that expensive. I think we were kind of shocked seeing like last time when you guys went in June, like how expensive the food was at the restaurants. But again, I think
there are ways that you can do it.
I think this is something that we prioritize though, because we are foodie people and we like cocktails, so this is something we would rather spend our money on than the hotel.
That's right.
And just so you don't think we're hypocrites when you see the price of those bills, because they're insane. But
so just to fill you in on what Amy's saying there, so the last trip that we took, we have posted some vlogs, so I'll link those below, but you can find them all on this channel. They're very recent, they're from like June / into the beginning of July, and I tend to try and show the cost of all the meals that we have and the drinks that we have, and by showing you the receipt at the end of the meal. So if you're interested in that, then go and have a look at them, and you can see exactly how much it's costing and what we're getting for our money. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't do it cheaply. You can do it much more cheaply than we tend to do it. But although we do tend to do some money saving things around food, I think our evening meal, we tend to go out and we don't care if we're like splurging a little bit. But during the day, we don't spend a huge amount of money on food and drink. I would say that definitely, especially if you have children, have your breakfast in your hotel room or your apartment or your villa, wherever you're staying. Feed your children and your family in the room before you leave. If you want to go out for brunch a day or two, then fine, you know, that's a treat. But generally, give the kids some cereal or some Pop-Tarts or whatever children eat these days. and get those at Walmart. Walmart is your cheapest supermarket. We prefer Target. It's a nicer shopping experience, but Walmart is usually cheaper. So get your bits and bobs in Walmart, take them back to your villa, your hotel room or whatever. Usually your hotel room will have a fridge. You can put some milk in there and give your children some cereal.
Another thing about Walmart, or like any supermarket really, is like, I think when you're on holiday you can be drawn to like certain things or certain brands because it's cool and it's different, but Walmart and Target make their own version of that. So where you can, don't buy the kind cereal bar that's really expensive, or the Cliff bar or whatever. Buy the Walmart or Target version because it's literally exactly the same. It just doesn't have as cute packaging,
and it's usually right next to it on the shelf.
It's literally like looks the same basically.
So I would say that for sure. Get your breakfast in your room. We tended to do that. Dave sometimes would just grab a cereal bar. I would have some yogurt and some fruit and some coffee, and then we would go out for the day. And on a lunchtime we tend to share. Another thing I would suggest that you do if you're going to the parks is share meals, and also order children's meals. That's like a little tip as well. Children's meals are quite big in Orlando, and I think often there's many times that myself and Dave will have got a meal each, and we'll both say, this is after years of you know, doing this, saying, well, we could have just shared one. And so the next time we're like, do you know what, let's just get one and share it. And so now when we go out for lunch, and again in our latest vlogs you'll see, at lunchtime we often just share. So we'll buy something, a sandwich and maybe some fries, and we'll cut the sandwich in half, have half of each, have half the fries, and we're full up. There's so much food, the portions are so big. I think as well,
like if you're walking around in the theme parks and it's hot, like sometimes you don't really want to eat all of that, and it can kind of slow you down for the rest of the day.
I don't know how people go on the like fancy dining plan and eat 3 table service meals a day.
They must be very full.
In 95 degree heat. Who?
I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to do it, but
I mean,
I think that would just be me holiday.
That would kill me off. That would kill me off.
If you have young kids, you can take like a little cool bag with snacks and food. I have been in the parks many times with my nieces and nephews and have a little cool bag, and there's sandwiches and goldfish and fruit and stuff.
Not real goldfish.
Not real goldfish. For them to eat, because like they'll always be hungry at the most inconvenient moment. So don't be like put off, and don't feel like you need to take that with you, because even if you go into Walmart and you buy a cheap little cool bag or a lunch bag, it's still probably going to save you a lot of money versus having to buy the snacks and stuff in the park as well. Yeah,
definitely. Another thing that I'll say about being in the parks is do not buy water. I'm going to say that again. Do not buy water.
We did that for so many years because we didn't know.
We did. We really did. Please don't buy water in the parks. They will give you water. It is a human right, a basic human right to have water and be hydrated. Just go up to any counter or any cafe, restaurant that has a fountain machine and say, please can I have some ice water? They will happily give you ice water.
And always ask if they can give you a large ice water. It doesn't always work, but sometimes they will actually give you like a large cup. If not, they just have all these little
tiny
cups ready to go.
Ones like that.
So ask for like 7 cups of ice water.
That's not going to quench anybody's thirst, is it? But please don't buy water in the parks. You can do something that we sometimes do, which is buy water for our hotel room. We always have water in our hotel room. Take a bottle with you to the park, and then once you've finished it, just keep refilling it. In Universal, we were walking around Universal when we were there recently, and we were just going to the fountain machines. There's one in Louis, there's one up next to Men in Black, and you can just go and fill your water bottle up again, and then we were just sharing the water.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. So if you don't know, when Universal introduced freestyle machines, there was like loads of people queuing to get water, which obviously like people had paid for freestyle drinks and cups, so they actually turned off the water if you didn't have a cup. That is no more. So you can get water from those machines and refill your own water bottle. So back to doing that. So definitely, at least at Universal, do not buy.
No, do not.
Do not buy. The other thing is, most restaurants, if you order like some kind of soda, whatever, water, like it's all going to be unlimited refills basically. So if you have family members who like to drink a lot of liquid, then don't order one of those like speciality juices or whatever. Get a fountain drink, because then they'll get refills.
And if you're going for breakfast on a morning, coffee is always refillable, and sometimes iced teas as well. Someone decided to start strimming their lawn just as we decided.
I don't know what they're doing, but if you hear a weird noise in the distance, just know that we are absolutely sweating because the window's closed. So you can't hear it.
It's like being back in Orlando.
I know.
Okay. And the final thing that I want to say on food and drink is to get the resort mugs in the hotels. If you are in one of the Universal or Disney hotels, then there's the option to get the resort mug, and normally you pay like, I think it was like $20, somewhere around there, $20 plus tax, for the 2 weeks that we were there, and we could get all the soft drinks and tea and coffee. I mean, when I say tea, iced tea, not Yorkshire tea. Iced teas, and also coffees as well, normal coffee, decaffeinated coffee. So if you are someone who drinks a lot of soft drinks or teas and coffees, then it's worth doing that. We just weighed up the cost of if we were to pop down to Starbucks, in the
every day for 2 weeks.
Morning for 2 weeks for 2 people.
And then you realise that would be $100. So.
And I thought, yeah, $20 is a deal.
It's not that bad.
So that's what we did, and we brought the cups home with us, and you know, you can reuse them again.
A souvenir.
Absolutely. Also, some restaurants on iDrive in particular, in fact not just on iDrive, you know, lots of other places, in pretty much everywhere, they do like a discount or like a coupon where if you sign up to their website you can get like a free appetizer or a free dessert, or I know that BJ's do a free pizookie. If you've never had a pizookie, you never live.
Where have you been?
Also, I think Ale House do a free flatbread when you sign up to theirs. If you've got lots of different email addresses, sign up using them all, and then you're going to get
make everyone in the family sign up.
And then they're great to get like little free appetizers or sometimes a little cheeky discount. So definitely, if you've got, I know a lot of people go to Orlando with a big list of places that they want to visit, to eat. Sign up to those websites before you go, and you've got to get it in like a certain window, because sometimes they only last like, you know, a couple of weeks or 4 weeks. So make sure you don't sign up too soon, or else the coupon will have expired. So that's like another little tip for you.
So the next thing is one of my favorite things to do, which is shopping. So I think that, like, don't be fooled by the fact that it used to be very, very cheap to shop in America. The exchange rate used to be amazing, especially if you're visiting from the UK. So everyone would be like straight to the outlets, buying everything. There's not as many deals to be had now, truthfully, unless you're going for American brands. So if you're going for like Tommy Hilfiger and things, then fair enough. But if not, like, do not get sucked in by the outlet and buy stuff, and be aware that like a lot of stuff that is in the outlet is made for the outlet. Not always, but you can spot those items. So just be aware and don't be sucked in, because it gets exciting. The other thing is merchandise. So like Disney merchandise, Universal merchandise, you can get that like in Walmart, in Target, at the outlet. So don't always feel like you have to buy it at the parks, because it is very, very expensive. You know, if you're just going to get a t-shirt with Mickey Mouse on, go to Walmart or Target instead. They make
or go
the
and
same
check out the
basic
Disney
stuff.
character warehouse at the outlets and see what they've got.
Definitely worth a look at the character warehouse. It's not always a winner, but sometimes it is, and sometimes they have great mini ears, they have great home stuff,
spirit
jerseys. They also often have really great like old Dooney and Burke
they do,
or Vera Bradley collabs, which is a great buy and then worth the money.
I got a really cute Dooney and Burke with Dumbo on. I'll insert a little picture here, actually.
And you saw it when it was in the park.
Actually, I made a conscious decision not to buy it when it was on sale in the parks. And I said to you, didn't I, I'm going to buy that when it's in the outlet. And I just hoped that it would come into the outlet, and it did. And actually, I'm like one of those people who watch people's videos who post about shopping in the outlet, in the character warehouse. So there's like a couple of people who are like personal shoppers. Or they know personal shoppers. And so they post little YouTube videos about what's in the Disney character warehouse on that particular day, and I saw them on a current video, and I immediately got in touch with her and said, you need to get yourself down to the character warehouse because that bag's in that. And you went down and got it, didn't you?
I did.
And we also got our your cousin, my niece, a Alice in Wonderland Dooney and Burke from the character warehouse as well, and they're all like half price. Really great deal.
Good deal if you can get it for that.
Definitely.
And the only other thing is like just look out for like special deals, discounts. Sometimes there's different like coupons and stuff that you can use. Like we love to go to like Old Navy, like never buy anything full price in Old Navy because they always have tons of like stackable discounts. So it's just about like being aware, maybe like having a little Google and looking on the website before you go, because sometimes it's worth just like waiting a week and then you can get the same thing for half the price. So yeah, I think with shopping it's just again about prioritizing. If you are wanting to get stuff that's not available elsewhere, 100% worth it. If not, I'd just be wary of being sucked in by things that might seem like they're a deal, but in actual reality they're not really.
Always check. So if you're really set on buying something, before you make that purchase, just go away, have a few minutes, get on the Wi-Fi, Google, and just see, okay, is this cheaper here or is this cheaper at home? So
the next thing is just things to do on a budget.
All the things.
So you go to Orlando generally to go to the theme parks. That's very expensive. So like on your not park days, there's still a lot of stuff that you can do and enjoy that don't cost any money. I mean, something we like to do on our off days which can cost you money is going to shops. But if you have willpower and you just window shop, and it's fine, it's inside, it's air conditioned, it's nice to have a little walk around, isn't it? But there's lots of other activities you can do and things to see in like the wider Orlando area. So you've probably seen on some of our videos, we love to go to Winter Garden, and there's a lovely little market there with food, and there's a whole street with like little shops and things, but also just nice to kind of have a walk around and go somewhere different. And we also love to go to Winter Park, where you just went and did some
scenic boat tour. We just did the scenic boat tour, which was absolutely fabulous. We loved it. It was $20 per person, which is really a great price for it was an hour, and we went out on the boat on the lake, I guess. Lake. And the driver of the boat was the tour guide, and he told us a lot about the area, talked us through some of the homes. There are some really old homes, some that have been knocked down and rebuilt, and a lot have stories attached, and it was really fantastic to listen to all of the history and all of the knowledge that he had. And he said that the boat tour had been going for many years, and was actually officially the longest running tourist attraction in the whole of the area. Which was really cool. So we really enjoyed that, and that was only $20 each. Also, one thing that is completely free, and that we did on this trip too, is the Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive, which I hadn't really heard of before. I mean, you lived there and you didn't really know what it was.
Never done it.
It's basically a drive. You drive yourself on this like wildlife trail around Lake Apopka, which is not very far from the like main Orlando tourist area. And you drive through and past like a lot of like wildlife. There's alligators, there are a lot of birds. We saw like a turtle crossing the road in front of us, and it was a really lovely afternoon out. And it's the kind of thing that if you just pop your whole family in the car, take a little cool bag, take some sandwiches, some snacks, some drinks, and spend a few hours there. We were there I think 2 or 3 hours, and we just really scratched the surface. I think we did maybe like almost half of the trail. So I mean, it's going to take, it's going to take pretty much a day to get around it. But I think it's the kind of thing that kids would love to go like gator spotting. And I mean, you do see like many gators in their natural habitat. If you go and pay to go to Gatorland, you're going to have to pay an admission fee for your entire family, which is going to be expensive. And you're seeing them in captivity, whereas you can go and see them all just swimming, lying at the side of the lake.
Doing their thing.
Doing their thing. Fascinating. So I would definitely recommend that, and that is completely free of charge. One other thing that we really enjoy doing is to go to Celebration. And if you've never been to Celebration, and I know many people have, but for some I think they still think, oh, I'd love to go to Celebration, but they just haven't gotten around to doing it yet because there's so much else to do. And that's something that we really enjoy doing, that again is like free of charge. You just go and park up. Great if you've got a car. You can jump in an Uber or a Lyft and get there fairly cheaply, and you can have a walk around the lake. It's really lovely just to go and like chill, have some time away from the hustle and bustle. You can sit at the side of the lake. You can gator spot, because sometimes there are gators in the lake as well. Or, you know, there are turtles, there's wildlife, and there's lots of little walks to do nearby. You can hire bikes for a nominal fee and then have like a little ride around the lakes. It's a really lovely place, and it might cost you a cold drink, a coffee in a nearby cafe, or an ice cream. There's a lovely ice cream shop there, so you can grab your kids an ice cream and have a little wander. And that's something that's a cheap little thing to do, but it's really lovely, especially I think if you're a couple. I think it's a nice little outing as well.
Something else in Celebration, depending on what time of year that you're going, is that if you're there around Halloween time, something we always like to do is go and look at everyone's Halloween decorations. So you can drive around, but you can also walk and see everyone's decorations. And the same at Christmas.
Yeah.
So there's
they go all out,
amazing. And they also have like a big Christmas thing in the middle of the main street, and they have like fake snow and stuff. An ice rink. So like there's lots of stuff to see and walk around, like depending on what time of the year it is and what's going on, really.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of that is completely free of charge as well.
Okay, so the next thing, which is just like huge, please buy your park tickets in the UK before you go. You will always get a way better deal if you buy them online here through any of those like kind of travel agent websites.
Yeah, attraction tickets, direct.
Yeah, and we can link loads of them below, but I would say the most common one is probably the attraction tickets direct. And often it is better value to buy just like the 14-day ticket than it is to buy, you know, if you're gonna go for like 3 days, it's better value to like buy the 14-day ticket than buy a 2 or 3 day ticket.
A lot of the time they're doing a 14-day for the price of 7. So that it's no different whether you buy 7 days or 14 days. So obviously you might as well get 14. But you can't really buy day tickets in the UK. You can buy day tickets from the UK using an American website, which I will link below, but I don't know if you have to use a VPN. I'll check that. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do, and it's just not really that cheap.
Honestly, the value of the 14-day ticket is like this, almost the same as like a 2-park 2-day ticket at Universal. When you like break it down at the price on the gate. So just to have the flexibility as well, that like you might want to go a few times. So I definitely think that's worth it. And as well, especially with Halloween Horror Nights tickets too, that's a big one. We are people who have bought frequent figure passes for many a year, and they are also a lot cheaper to buy here in advance than they are to buy them there when you get there. And the same for the Disney tickets. There's some deals to be had sometimes. Again, like, we probably sound like a broken record, not as many deals as there used to be, but way better to make sure you buy those tickets in advance, especially, you know, who knows what's going on with parks by the time this video goes up, because I feel like things change daily. But if you do happen to need like a reservation to get into somewhere, whether it's a park or a restaurant or something, and you want to secure that in advance, just make sure you have your tickets far enough in advance. And sometimes with a lot of those tickets, like, they're not date specific, so you could make sure you have those tickets even before you potentially have booked your flight, and you're not tied to like picking certain days, so it doesn't matter. Depending on where else you want to go, places like SeaWorld and Busch Gardens do really great deals where it's like buy a day, get the rest of the year free. Which is obviously amazing. So if you go to SeaWorld, you're just paying for the one day, and you could go like a couple of times during the trip if you would like, because they have great roller coasters there. We'll link a couple of places where we've bought tickets in the past, but just be aware that sometimes some of those websites will give you what you think is a ticket, but it's actually a voucher. So you need to have all of that, and you need to exchange them for tickets before you can get into the park.
The tickets, the ticket sellers that I'll link below are going to be giving you real tickets and not vouchers. Also, sometimes if you buy in a few different tickets or spending over a certain amount, they also throw in some little extras as well, like some coupons, some discounts, and
we've had it where you get like a discount voucher for like Planet Hollywood or something. Is what they used to do.
So it's always worth, you know, having a look at, you know, 3 or 4 of the different ticket sellers and just see who. Sometimes there's like £2 difference in the ticket price, but have a look at all the things that they're going to throw in as well. If you're spending £2 you want some freebies in there.
Definitely.
The next topic that we want to talk about is getting around on a budget. So there are various ways that you can get around. As Amy said earlier, if you're literally getting on that Mia's bus at the airport, you're getting straight to your Disney hotel, then you know that you're going to use Disney transportation for the duration of your trip and you don't want to go anywhere else. However, if you decide, you know what, I really want to go to Walmart, and who doesn't really want to go to Walmart?
Then, to get your snacks.
To get your snacks. Or your breakfast foods for your children. Then usually the best way to do that is via Lyft or Uber. Now, what I always do is I have Lyft and Uber, both the apps, on my phone, and if I ever want to go anywhere using a taxi service, I'll check them both and I see who's the cheapest, and whoever's the cheapest, I choose them. Next time they might be cheaper with the other taxi service, so I'll use them. So I'm a bit of a
shop around.
Yes. I am not loyal to Lyft or Uber. Happy to choose whoever gives you the best deal on the day. Just a little word of warning, if you're sitting and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to book an Uber now, and you're checking the price and it starts to chuck it down with rain, the price will start to go up because everyone will be wanting one. So it's very much supply and demand. So just think about when you're going places. If you're going at like peak getting to the parks time or peak coming home from the parks time, you'll find that the cost will be a little bit more. So you know, I would say just pay attention to when you're going to go somewhere, because the time that you go is going to have an impact on the price. The other thing that I'll mention with regards to getting around are hire cars. Now, hire cars over the last few years have been crazy prices. After COVID, there was like a whole big thing. There was no hire cars. I think obviously no one was hiring cars, so they got rid of them all. I also heard a rumour at one point that one of the lots was set on fire and a lot of them went up in smoke. I don't know how true that is, whether that was an insurance job or what. But whatever the reason, around the time of COVID and just coming out of COVID, the hire car prices went through the absolute roof, and there was very little anyone could do about it. But they are coming down now, and they've definitely, they haven't come down quite to where they were, but they are definitely coming in the right direction. But I guess like everything, they've probably gone up anyway. Now there are different hire car places that you can look. Now we've got hire cars through Alamo quite a lot. We tend to prefer Alamo. I tend to find that you get a decent service from them. We've also had Budget, we've had Dollar, we've had quite a few different hire car companies. But you can get them, you don't have to get them directly, you can get them through different hire car, like I guess, sales sites. One of the places that we've often hired from is Virgin Car Hire. I've used Virgin Car Hire a couple of times when I've seen that they were the cheapest. Again, I just shop around. I look at the different places that are selling hire cars, and I just find the cheapest option for what we're looking for, and I go with that. I will usually get in touch with Discount Florida Car Hire, and again I'm going to put their details here because Andy at Discount Florida Car Hire like that has always done great by us. So whenever I reach out and I'm looking for a deal for a hire car, I'm looking for the best price. If I get another price, I go to him and I tell him that, and if he can beat it, then he will. If he can't, he's very honest and says, I'm really sorry, I'm trying, haven't been able to get anywhere near that. And then you know that you've got a decent deal elsewhere and you'll go with that. This year, I was finding prices for like £600, and I thought, you know, that's like seems quite a lot to me. So I got in touch with him and he came back with £450, and so obviously I went with £450. It wasn't with Alamo, who I prefer. It was with Budget Car Hire, who I don't think are as good. But at the end of the day, I was saving a lot of money. I'm going to give my money to Budget. That's why it was cheaper. Absolutely, yeah. So we went with Budget, but we got a better deal. So I would say shop around, use the sites below that I'm going to link. I'll give you a couple of ideas as to different places you can go. And I know that also the like TUI, they'll ask if you want hire cars and things like that. I've never found them to be very competitive. If you are like looking on different hire car websites and you find a great deal, I would say always check the insurance, because all things are not equal. If you get a deal that looks too good to be true, it might well be too good to be true, because you could get to the airport to pick your car up and then they could start upselling your insurance that you don't have. And always beware of upselling at the airport as well, because if those guys can get a few more dollars out of you, then they will. They will. I think that's it about hire cars. I'll also mention parking as well, because a lot of the hotels charge an extortionate amount to park.
I mean,
there.
Every hotel now.
Pretty much. Actually, funnily enough, I don't think the Rosen a point charges. I don't think. I mean, again, please enlighten me if but they didn't used to, and I'm not sure that they do still. I think it's still free to park in the Rosen hotels. At the Aventura Hotel, when we first stayed there after it was first built, I'm pretty sure it was $15, or it might have been $13 plus tax. It's now $23 plus tax.
A day.
Basically $25 a day. That's a lot of money.
I mean, that's a
lot of money. It is.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And so you've got to be okay with that. If you're hiring a car, you've got to be okay with the fact that it's going to cost you a lot of money. You need to build that into your budget for your hotel, really. Yeah. And if it doesn't say on your hotel whether they charge for your car parking or not, and you have a car, then email them directly and ask them, because you don't want to be left with a charge that you didn't know about, because that's a lot of money.
And it's probably going to be $20 to $30 now wherever you stay.
Also, do watch out for resort fees, because sometimes things are snuck in as a resort fee, and they'll say it's for like the courtesy buses to go to the parks, which a lot of hotels don't do anymore, and they always used to do. A lot of them don't do for free, and they'll charge you. But then some hotels have this hidden resort fee as well. So again, be careful of things like that when you're booking your hotel.
I think one of the other things we wanted to mention was parking at the attractions. So everywhere is going to charge you to park, just like your hotel. So Disney and Universal are the worst for it. I mean, I don't know how much it is. What's the going rate at the moment? Do you know?
It's like, it's at least $30 on it. I mean, because we stay on site, we don't park there. I mean, apart from the $25 to park in the hotel. But we're not parking in the parks. I think it's around $30 now.
So something you might want to consider, which is depending on how often you go to the parks or when you're planning your holidays, going back to the tickets, is an annual pass. So they are expensive, but if you are going to go, even if you're only going like twice and it might have been your like once a year visit, if you could wangle that to fall within the same 12 months, and you have an annual pass that's going to have, you know, not block out dates when you want to visit, they will include parking. There's different tiers of annual passes for the different attractions, so you want to look at that.
Not all of them include parking.
But if you get like a mid-level annual pass for Disney or Universal, it's going to include parking and have less block-out dates. So if depending on how much you frequent, that's definitely worth it. That's what we had when we lived there, because there's no way you can afford to pay for that parking every time you go to the park. That's your budget for your snacks and your
cocktails.
So another thing just to like consider, I mean, like when I worked in the parks, there was a lot of English people who had annual passes at different levels. So it definitely works for some people, just depending on how often you want to visit. Okay, so we think that's everything based on, you know, questions we've been asked in the past and kind of like what we look at when we're planning. So
happy to answer any questions. If anyone has any questions or has any advice for people, pop it down below and people can read it. And like I say, if you've got any questions that you want to ask us, anything that we didn't cover, anything you want to ask Aimee as someone who lived there for all those years and literally just came back last year. Also, Aimee's husband is from Orlando. I don't think we even mentioned that. So again, he has like even more insight into, you know, the local area. And, you know, if you've got anything you want to ask her, then do, or anything you want to ask me as a frequent traveller, frequent flyer, then please do. Happy to answer any questions. We always read all the comments and we always answer all of our comments as well. Unless there's 500, I might not answer 500. We don't get 500 though.
Maybe we will on this video.
Maybe we will.
And also, if you have any other videos you want to see, then we do take requests. So go ahead and let us know, and we'll do our best to put it together and film it.
Yeah, we will. We will. We do have still some vlogs to come. So Aimee's recently been to Japan, where she went to, well, you say where you went.
I just went to Japan, and I went to Universal, Disney, and then Tokyo and Osaka, and experienced a lot of other stuff that wasn't theme parks, but we're theme park people, so we went for theme parks. And obviously they have just been all in Orlando, so there's some vlogs on the channel. And we're also going to London next weekend, so we're going to maybe film a little vlog there. We're going to go do the V&A to see the new Taylor Swift additions to the exhibitions, so that should be fun as well. Alright,
I think that's it then, so we'll say goodbye, but not before we ask you to hit the like, thumbs up thing down below. We're so bad at promoting ourselves. We're like the worst people at promoting ourselves. Please subscribe. We would love you to do that. It really helps the channel and it helps other people find our videos. Apparently, I'm told that's the way the algorithm works.
And we're Lynn and Aimee everywhere, so follow us on Instagram and on TikTok as well, because we try and post
We tend to post like quite regular on TikTok. A little bit more regular now on Instagram, but we're trying to get better at that, and we are trying to get videos out now every week, because I don't know if you are new here, you won't know. We did start vlogging back in, I think, 2015.
Yeah,
I think it was 2015. We started vlogging from the Orlando area in 2015. We did like a lot of theme park vlogs back then. Please don't watch them because they're awful. They're awful.
They're very 2015.
They're very 2015.
Yeah.
But we've pretty much vlogged up until COVID.
Yeah.
So there's in some years there's like 2 trip vlogs a year, so go back and watch them and, you know, tell us how crap they are. Please don't.
we're a bit rusty, but we're getting back in.
We are. So we've since COVID, we didn't really do any type of stuff on this channel. Now and again, and then, you know, we've come back and we've started doing some vlogs again, and we're really enjoying it. We have like a renewed passion. We're really enjoying it, and we'd love to film some more videos for you, so do let us know what you'd like to see, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And
we'll see you in the next video.
We will. See ya. Thanks for watching. Bye.